This is Musical Talk.
Musical Talk.
The UK's independent musical theatre podcast.
Musical Talk, the UK independent musical theatre podcast.
Well, hello, welcome to Musical Talk. My name's Nick Hudson. Sitting across from me is the wonderful Mr. Martin Ball. Hello, Martin. How are you?
Hello, Nick. Absolutely lovely, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you again for joining us on Musical Talk. Last time we spoke, you were in Top Hat.
That's right.
That stopped, sadly.
It was sad, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, it was sad.
After such a big success at the Olivier's.
I know. Real shame.
Did you watch the musical documentary we had over the...
I did, and I thought Kenny Wax, our lovely producer, came over very, very well on it. In fact, the whole show came over well on it.
Did it make you miss it?
Yes, it did. It's such lovely music. It was a very happy company. It was lovely seeing all those faces.
Obviously, the show will have a life on tour again, do you think?
No, it's definitely off on tour. I'm not quite sure when, because we only did the tour that was before the West End. And the show was in significantly different form then, actually. Only played 4 theatres, 6 theatres, perhaps. Was it 6 theatres? I think 5 or 6 theatres.
You did it.
I know, and I can't remember. I'm very old, dear. I can't remember things like that. I think 5 theatres offhand. So there's plenty left around the country who deserve to see the new shiny West End production.
The shinier hat.
The even shinier
polished
hat.
top hat.
Yeah, the even top hat.
A dapper top hat.
Which is shorter, tighter, with a couple of new songs.
Tight hats are not very comfortable.
No, that's very true.
Do you wear hats? I can't do hats. I'm not a hat person.
I don't think the 21st century at the moment is a hat century, is it? Quite yet.
People have baseball caps, usually the wrong way round.
We're caps, but we're not hats. I'd love hats to come back, wouldn't you? Just for the fun of throwing them in the air on VE Day.
You are in a reasonably famous and successful musical now.
I think we could call it successful after 27 years. Phantom of the Opera. Yes, and what
because you've done the other mega musical in the world, which is Les Misérables. You were You were
what next to me? That's it, really, isn't it?
Miss Saigon.
That's coming back. I'll
Yes.
still be in Phantom. Not apart from me in Miss Saigon, I don't think.
You got a story about Miss Saigon, haven't you? That
Have
you
I?
told me years ago. How
Go on, I
because
don't
the
remember
sound
this.
of the helicopter wasn't everything you wanted it to be.
No, the sound of the helicopter was everything.
Oh,
I wanted it
okay.
to be. I thought the sound of the helicopter was wonderful. I thought the helicopter was going to land on the roof. Do you know how he got that sound?
A tooth comb and...
He went to the sort of sound libraries and thought, Chinook landing or whatever, and there wasn't anything that he thought was appropriate or powerful enough. So he called the RAF and said, I need the sound of a Chinook taking off, landing. Could you arrange? And they said, yeah, come up to Bryce Norton. We'll start up a Chinook for you. And if that's even how you say that word, I think it is.
Insert generic helicopter name here.
Yeah. Oh, whatever helicopter it was. And they had one at Bryce. And Andrew Bruce, I think it was, at Autograph, put 10 or 12 microphones right underneath this helicopter. They started up, took off, flew up, and landed again on the microphones. That sound is the real thing. And the RAF did that for him.
Good effect then, I'm guessing.
It was phenomenal.
I'm really looking forward to the production.
So am I.
And I don't know how they're going to do it, if it's going to be real physical sets or projected or 3D projections.
When we were doing Mary Poppins on tour, when we were in rehearsal for that, I had a chat with Cameron, and he said, I really feel that we've got the design for Mary Poppins. I'm coming back to Saigon in a second. I really feel we've got the design right. On tour, in town, I felt that the house was... on town and on Broadway, the house was a bit much and didn't allow for the intimacy. And the touring set, which was this beautiful
Doll's house
that turned and opened, it has much more of the charm and allows for the intimacy. He says, it's the second time I've done this, because I thought the same thing on Saigon. In the West End, we had the spectacle, but we didn't have the intimacy. And on the tour, I feel we got the intimacy right. In answer to your question, how will they do this time round? I don't know, but I suspect that it may have elements of that intimacy that he found for the little duets, the song on a solo saxophone, last night in my life, whatever that song is. The Chris and Kim stuff, basically. I suspect that there will be elements of the tour from that. It's probably a pick and mix from the best of the West End and the best of the tour sets.
When you were watching Miss Saigon, did you ever think you'd be on stage in a musical? I mean, not that you're doing Miss Saigon, but Les Mis and Phantom, they're of the same milieu in a way. Did you ever...
No, because I'm not really a singer, I never imagined myself doing musicals. I've always absolutely loved them. When I went to see Mamma Mia, which was the first musical I did, I saw it 4 times before anyone suggested that I might do it. And at no point in those 4 times did I look at the character of Harry and think, I could do that. Never once. When I go to the theatre, I turn off my acting head and I just be an audience member. I completely unplug and I just say, come on, tell me the story. I suppose after it, on the way home, I analyse it as an actor. One can't help but do that. But at the time, sometimes actively make a point of just closing my eyes for a minute and just forgetting everything that I know about theatre and just letting it
because it sucks the fun
wash
out
over me.
doesn't
Yeah,
it?
so I'm not one of those actors that, you know, it's the old light bulb joke, isn't it? How many actors did it take to change a light bulb? Which is 12, of course. 1 to change the light bulb and 11 to stand around saying, I could have done that much better. I'm not one of those ones that stands around thinking I could have done that much better. Ditto when I saw Mary Poppins, I saw David Haig do it. And he was, of course, he was wonderful, but entirely different from how I played it when I did it. And when I looked at David, it never occurred to me that I could do that part. I think the one exception to that is that when I first, I'm doing Phantom now, when I first saw Phantom, of course, I was 18 or 17 or something. So I don't remember...
Or 5. Or...
Yeah, quite. I don't remember then thinking, oh, there's a lovely part, Andre, because I would have been precisely 27 years too young to play it. But over the years, I have thought, since getting into musicals, I thought, well, hang on now, you know, I've done a few. What other ones are there that I could do? And I did then think, well, hang on, Phantom would be. I'd love to play one of those managers. And anyone who I've said that to says, oh, you've got to go down and do Andre. Of course you must. And it is one of those parts that's sort of made to measure a bit.
You have to do Trunchbull though one day.
Oh, I couldn't.
You could.
One, it's too high.
Oh,
and secondly, your leg goes too high. I auditioned for it, the second audition period. I think I don't know who took over after Bertie Covell, but it would have been the time
a chap
after
called
that.
Alex Gaumond is now playing him.
Yes, it was in the crop with Alex. I was auditioning with Alex.
An actor called David Leonard played him.
David Leonard, thank you. He covered Bertie, didn't he, and took over. Yeah, and apparently it was wonderful. No, I was in to audition with Alex. Who I vaguely know because he took over on Top Hat. So he was around in the rehearsal period, and when I popped in to see friends on Top Hat, he would be in the dressing room, etc., etc. So although I didn't work with him on Top Hat, we knew each other from that. And it was much too high for me. There's those big F sharps at the end of Smell of Rebellion. Plus, physically, it would have absolutely killed me. They said, put your leg up as far as you can, and I did. I put it all the way up to my knee, and then it got dizzy. And I said, well, it's not going up there. He said, oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, oh, yeah. He said, by the time we finished in boot camp, which is some terrifying endless prospect that precedes the main rehearsal period. Some
RSC-funded nightmare.
Yeah. And I was... we had a session prior to the finals, which we're going to be in front of, or at least taped for the senior management and the director, etc. We had a working
made an
session.
effort to be there.
Oh no, he was on. It was opening night of. To be fair, it was opening night of Broadway.
Oh,
so
that's
he had a reason to not be in England. So I think they were going to be taped and sent over to him.
They were busy that day.
He was very busy that day. But before that, we had a sort of working session, and it was deemed not suitable for me to turn up for the final audition, both because it was too high vocally, and because it was because physically, I think I wouldn't be able to cope. It would have killed me, to be honest. And I was very glad. I thought I'd be disappointed not to the final. I was filled with relief, flooded with relief.
You read my mind. That was my next question. Do you take news like that? Do you sit at home and cry your eyes out for days, or do you just
if it's a part you want and you didn't get through? I think I'd be absolutely gutted. I'd be opening veins. But on this occasion, I really flooded with relief because I couldn't have done it justice. And too high is too high. There's not a lot you can do about that.
I like the role of Mr. Wormwood.
Oh, I don't think that's very me. But then I'm thinking about it, and I was thinking about the guy who did it originally, Paul. Yeah, and he was just wonderful. And I can't compete with that.
Well, you're wonderful as well.
No, he was. Oh, that's very kind of you. If I am, it's in a different way. Shall we be kind and say that?
You can, yes.
But it is, again, maybe it's one of those, maybe, you're right, Nick, maybe it's one of those parts that, you know, when I finished doing Mr. Banks, they said, come in and have a go at Thénardier. And I said, no, absolutely not. There's no way I could do Thénardier. And
something happened, didn't it?
My agent said, well, don't be ridiculous, of course you can. And I said, no. She said, well, listen, don't be silly, I'm going to give you to the end of the day, and I'm going to call you back, let you think about it, and get over your sorry self. And I'm going to call you back so that we can let them know before 6. She phoned me at 5 to 6. I saw it was her on the phone. I answered the phone and went, you can't make me, and hung up. She let me sleep on it. And then Trevor Jackson, who's, head honcho at Cameron's, called and said, look, I know what's happened. I know why Martin's refusing this. I refused to go in. And he called back, bless him. He didn't take no for an answer. And called back and said, I didn't see it either. When somebody suggested it to me, I said, no, I don't see that. But I think a couple of people suggested it. And I thought, no, actually, I think that could work. And I think Martin's being narrow-minded in the way that we are all narrow-minded. I was also narrow-minded about it, and the way we blame directors and casting directors for being narrow-minded, and we were all capable of it. I was, and Martin's doing the same thing. Come in, it's not an audition, sing through it with the associate musical director, Stephen Brooker, who I knew from Poppins and dearly love, Superman. He said, come in and sing through it. We will leave the room and sing through everything. If at the end of that you still don't want to do it, that's fine, we'll let it go. And we did that, and we sang through it, and Brooker said, what do you think? And I said, I don't know, Brooker, what do you think? It was a Friday afternoon at 5 p.m, and he said, I think piss off and learn it. Come back on Tuesday.
See you next
Tuesday.
So
I see you next Tuesday. More or less exactly what he said. Yeah, piss off and learn it, you see you next Tuesday. So I did, and that was that.
But they were desperate for you, and you were kind of saying, I'm not really sure, I need to
They thought there might be a chance in it, and I'd been playing the same part for a year. It was a very different part, and I think I'd allowed myself, my comfort zone, to shrink around that role.
But surely as an actor, to go from, was it Mr. Banks at the time, to go from the complete opposite would be a great thrill.
Nick, you're absolutely right, and any sensible thinking actor would think the same thing. I can't explain what happened, and I'm not proud of it, but I did absolutely have a sort of fear that I couldn't do anything else other than what I was doing. It's very odd.
Psychiatrist session.
I know, doesn't it?
He's on the couch and everything.
I know, how indulgent. Let's move on to something else. But yeah, very odd and very silly. Once I'd spent the weekend battened down the hatches and had a go and found my way of doing Thénardier, I would have bitten your hand off to do it, and I was absolutely delighted to start work the following Monday. I was straight into rehearsal, and I loved it, and I stayed 2 years and had the happiest 2 years of my life.
In a way, do you think the resilience to do it, or resistance even, made the character better because you thought,
yeah,
right, I have to do it now, I need to work really hard.
Damn right.
And what did you personally bring to the role, do you think?
I've no idea. I think it's quite fun to take a leap at a character that with whom you have nothing in common, rather than playing. George Banks is a stuck-up, alien retentive middle-class Englishman. So am I. So that's not so hard. George Banks and Andre, although very different characters, are small steps from me. Andre is the character I play in Phantom of the Opera, one of the managers.
Andre Lloyd Webber.
Another middle class opera lover. Well, that's me
we'll
to a T.
Get onto that later.
That's me to a T. But Thénardier, who is ratus, bad the way through, will slit your eyes without blinking.
And piss in a bottle and drink.
Vile man, yeah. And that's great fun. Great fun to take a leap at that. And it's just a terrific character. I don't know that I did bring anything particularly to it, although technically I learned a lot about how precise you need to be in that kind of comedy. The how you need to be very clean and very precise, and I think it honed those skills for me, and I think I'm a better actor for that on a technical level.
Singer?
Well, the lovely thing about singing Thénardier is there's a huge release from having to make a lovely sound. You must not make a lovely sound. Yeah, quite. You must. I've heard you're master of the house. You must make a less than beautiful sound, and it's very liberating. That's the word I'm looking for. To have to sing less well than I can.
But did you have to learn the stuff first and then forget it all? It's the same with learning to compose. You learn the rules and then you break everything you knew and make it your own.
Well, I'm not a great singer at the best of times, but yes, I did. And I also had to learn how to make a rough sound without losing my voice. And I got that wrong. When I started, I beat my voice to a pulp. And after 7 weeks, I had to stop. I had nothing left. And take a Friday and Saturday off, take 3 shows off. Went for a sing lesson on the Friday, just to say, what the hell is going on? And Mark Malin put me straight completely. Said, this is what you're doing, this is what you need to do. And on the Monday night, I came back in making the same sound, precisely, but produced in an entirely different way. Then I kept that for 2 years without another day of vocal problems at all. So that was an interesting lesson. And there's a nod to the brilliance and wonderfulness of the management of Cameron Mackintosh. So give them a nod here. They were so supportive about that. Stephen Brooker happened to be in that day. And he said, no, listen, this is no good. You've got to go off, go and see Mark Malin. We will pay for you to have some lessons with Mark Malin while you sort this out. It's a big ask.
They want the best for you because they want to keep you, and they want the best for the show in a way, don't they?
But they didn't need to do that. That's an actor's responsibility to do what he needs to do technically to bring, a performance that he can sustain to the stage. There's no argument that says that the management should pay for that. But they did. They said, right, tell him you can bill us for half a dozen lessons while you sort that out, which is, I thought, incredibly kind and sweet of them. So there we are. Just a nod of appreciation. Thank you for that.
Office.
Yeah, thank you, Bedford Square, very much. And that was wonderful. And then I was able, as I say, to do it for the same thing for 2 years without a whisper of a problem.
And it's such a great part as well because it is a sigh of relief when the characters appear, because at last there's something to smile at in a way in this show.
It's light relief in an otherwise very dark, gloomy story. And the brilliance of that is that what it allows you to do, of course, is go deeper into the gloom. Because you've had some respite from it. It's like sort of turning all the lights on, opening the windows, getting some fresh air in the room, and then we can close up again and go deeper into the gloom in a way that would not be sustainable for 2.5 hours. Without that, taking us back to Phantom, of course, what the managers, Andre and Firmin, do in that show is very much dramatically structurally the same role. They provide light relief in a major key in an otherwise dark, gloomy story. We can't stay in the lair with the Phantom and Christine all night. No. We need to come up and go duddy-duddy-dum-dum-dum-dum in a major key every now and again as well.
It sounds like the theme to Inspector Gadget. Have you ever noticed that?
No, what's
Inspector Gadget.
It wouldn't be the first time Angelo Webb has been accused of plagiarism.
Yes.
However, I think that he predates first managers scene predates
Inspector Gadget.
Inspector Gadget, doesn't it?
Yes, but it doesn't predate Puccini, which brings me on to my next topic of conversation. I want to talk to you seriously about this, Martin, because you mentioned earlier you are a huge opera buff. And
No, opera fan.
Opera fan.
I don't know what buff means. It's a snobbish word, and I resist it.
Opera aficionado.
Because you're never a football buff, are you? You're either an opera buff
you can be a buff footballer.
Or a wine buff. And they're both subjects that come with loaded, social, snobbish, nasty overtones.
Yes, well, welcome to Musical Talk.
Can I not just be a fan of opera?
A fan of opera.
An opera lover.
But you also know a lot, a huge amount. We've had Gareth Valentine on this very show, so he can play the first note of an opera to you, and you can say what it is.
We have played that game. I'll name that aria in 2. Yeah, we have. But then Gareth's a very, very skilled musician, and he knows exactly what chords. It's not just a note; it's what chord to put underneath it.
The Tristan chord and all that stuff.
Yeah,
So what I want to...
Gareth is immensely skilled in that area. He has a wonderful party trick. I don't know if you did on your podcast, where you can put a bit of some words in front of him, a bit of dialogue. Now, I've done this with a cigarette packet. Where
he smokes the
where
words.
his lyrics that he had to say were tobacco is harmful, or whatever it says on the cigarette packet. I don't know, but it was a sentence involving
tobacco may harm your baby and give you cancer.
Yeah, exactly that. Cool. And we say Schubert Lieder, and he then immediately starts on the piano and then sings that in the style of Schubert Lieder, followed by Gilbert and Sullivan.
Elton John does
followed
that.
by Puccini. It's a great trick, and it's a wonderful party piece.
Over the summer, we had...
I'm deflecting from you bigging me up about opera.
Right. Over the summer, we had this wonderful series about London theatres presented by Sir Donald Sinden.
Oh, yeah.
Who should narrate...
Do you have a Donald Sinden impersonation? I'm sure you do.
Well, there is a bit in the show where it's my favourite bit, where he's looking at photographs of... explain Donald Sinden for those. He's a very, very funny Shakespearean.
He needs explaining?
Well... He might not know who he is.
He's one of... Well, you'd have to be quite young, wouldn't you? No, probably not anymore. Donald Sinden is one of the country's oldest now, probably. How old is he? Do you think he is? He's one of our best loved
80
actors.
something.
He's a wonderful. He's a Sir, for God's sake. The Sirs don't need introduction.
He's very over the top. He's very theatrical, and he was looking at some pictures of people, and he says, "There's the Queen, and who's that?" And then he turns to the camera and says, "It is I!"
Of course he does.
But he was talking about Her Majesty's Theatre, where Phantom is playing, and he said something I never knew, but I'll let you go off about this now, Martin. It is the original opera house in this country.
Yeah, the current version dates from 1896, but the one that burnt down prior to that, as all of those gas-run theatres did for obvious reasons, was the Opera House. Yeah, there was it was home to the English premieres of most of the great operas. I mean, most that you can think of, from the early Handel. The early Handel operas, that's how far back we're going, 1720, something like that. Most of the Mozart, Così, Don Giovanni, Figaro, Idomeneo, Tito, all had their premieres there. And then most things on through Rigoletto, Verdi, that kind of thing, so that in the mid-19th century, still the premieres were all there.
So it's a real fitting place for Phantom of the Opera to go.
Yeah, isn't it?
And an interesting conversation I wanted to have with you is, being in Phantom, what, other than Puccini, what references are there to the stuff that they're essentially paying homage to in Phantom?
Well, Phantom of the Opera is set at the Garnier, the Opera Populaire, which is Paris's main opera house. Known as the Garnier because Charles Garnier was the architect.
With the famous dome, yes.
With the famous dome by Matisse.
And the chandelier, is that all part of it as well?
The chandelier is there. There is a chandelier there.
And it really has underground lakes as well, doesn't it?
There's a lot of truth in the story. The original Gaston Leroux story came about because the chandelier really did drop.
Ooh.
On
Every
an
night
audience.
On cue.
Yeah. On an audience in the Paris Opera House. It was catastrophic and 2 people died. No, I'm wrong. 1 person died and 1 person was very, very badly injured. And I think subsequently died of their injury.
It's a light injury, you could say.
You think, oh, don't jest about such things, Nicholas. And inevitably, because theatre people are terribly superstitious and neurotic. That's right, yeah. And they have a ghost light on them, of course, at night. There were stories that a ghost had done it. And Gaston Leroux picked up on this story and wrote The Phantom of the Opera. At the bottom of the opera house, 7, 8, 9 stories down in the catacombs, it does connect to an underground lake. Water from that lake was used as ballast for the flies.
The hydraulic lifts and things.
Well, not hydraulic in those days, but
wasn't water hydro?
But well, yes, yeah, hydraulic in that sense.
Yeah.
Yes, you're quite right. Yes.
See,
I was thinking of pneumatic.
I learnt something at school.
You're quite right. No, you're quite right. I'm sorry. I was thinking of, when you said hydraulic, I heard pneumatic.
Oh, okay.
I was imagining some oil-based piping system. No, you're absolutely right. I stand corrected. Yep. You can still go down there, but it's concreted over and there's a hatch and you can look down into gloom and smell water.
Have you been?
Yeah, and it's...
Is that research for your role?
It's anticlimactic.
Okay.
And I've got a friend who's an opera singer who worked at the Garnier, and I made him take me down there. Rear of House is very like the Maria Bjornsson sets. I mean, those huge drapes. Lots of those enormous, huge drapes at the Garnier.
Phantom of the Opera could be a true story for all we know. The chandelier did fall, and it is that there are the catacombs. It did fall,
and there are the catacombs, and all that is true. Yeah.
So, what does Phantom do to you as an opera expert, fan?
Can I not just be a fan? Yeah, I'm so not an expert. Oh my God.
Well, there are 2 people in this room, Martin.
Mate, in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king.
And one of them is an opera expert. Because there was an opera running through the musical, isn't there?
Well, it's an opera house, and there are several operas in production. We open, or almost open, with Chalamot's Hannibal. Or a version of that, reworked by Andrew Lloyd Webber. And then we have another show within the show, if you like, opera within the musical, which is Il Muto, the dumb, the mute.
Because
And then
the
in Act
Phantom
2, the
writes
Phantom commission...
a dissonant opera, doesn't it?
a sort of modern opera, yeah, sort of slightly Brittany, Janicek-y sort of opera. Which is... all three of them are very good spoofs. They exactly... They sound like the music you would expect to hear in that opera. So Chalamet's Hannibal is the entrance of Hannibal back from... victorious back from battle. And it's a nod to the triumphal march in Aida, really. Verdi, which is an opera of that same time, late 19th century. Then Il Muto is very much what they call opera buffo, which is the powdered wigs and the farcical
opera buff, you could say.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, there you go. You got there.
Thank you.
Which would be something like, I suppose. Well, I mean, in terms of plot, it's closest to Marriage of Figaro. It's sort of Act 2 of Marriage of Figaro, really, vaguely. A woman playing a man. So what they call a trouser role in opera, dressed as a woman.
Okay.
Which is sort of Cherubino
in
and the Countess, yeah. Well, in opera, that happens a lot in opera, those trouser roles. We have that, and then, as you say, he writes Don Juan Triumphant, which is the Don Giovanni story, but in a more modern style. And all three of them very accurately ape the opera styles of their period, the music for them.
Musically, what's the third opera? Is it Britain, or is it too? It's too.
No, it's not quite Britain. I suppose it's sort of Janicek, somewhere between Janicek and Britain. It's or Berg. It's sort of stuff that's being written around that time. It's generic, if you like.
But it's still meant to be shocking for the audiences. It's the time, wasn't it?
Atonal. It's in 7/8. Yeah, it's atonal, so it doesn't fit on one particular. Major key. You can explain it. You're the musician. Over to you for atonal.
Well, atonal means there's no home. There's no
home key signature.
Yeah, there's no, like The Simpsons is atonal. The theme to The Simpsons is atonal. It goes from C to B to D flat and all over the place.
I never thought of that. It's interesting. It is, isn't it? Yeah.
It even starts with the tritone, famous from Maria.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, that's quite right. So at the end of The Simpsons, you couldn't hum the tonic.
It sort of returns
because it does seem to come back to something.
Yeah,
doesn't
it? I mean, it does return. It has to. It can't end just fizzing away. But it flies. It flies around between different keys in the middle. But it's kind of D flat, kind of C at the end. It's hard to tell.
Right, but without a fixed key signature, so you don't get the major third, then the semitone, that sort of thing. Yeah.
Outside of the operas in Phantom.
Yeah.
What's Andrew doing in the score?
Oh, well, he's sort of doing...
Andrew?
He's sort of doing pseudo Puccini, really, isn't he?
That's one way of putting it, yes.
Yeah, pseudo, that's not a kind word. I don't mean... That sounds,
that
sounds derogatory.
You know the story of him
the style of Puccini.
Having to pay money to the Puccini estate?
Yes, I do, yeah.
Early on in the show. I mean, I don't know very much about it, but there are rumours that Music of the Night is quite... might sound a
well, there's a
like
bit of
Franchula
de West, isn't there? Yeah. Music of the Night, isn't that the one that people claim is Brigadoon?
Might well be. I don't know. It's a lot of things, that song. It's still a lovely song. I mean, it's wonderful.
Well, you can Google Andrew Lloyd Webber plagiarisms on YouTube, or you can YouTube it, can't you? And there's a thing there that's quite easy to find that gives 5 or 6 Lloyd Webber tunes against their originals, and I there's one I'm pretty sure that comes from Brigadoon, and offhand I can't remember which one it is. I thought it was Music of the Night. Well, the famous
that's Pink Floyd,
is Pink Floyd.
But that's not fair, because that's just a chromatic scale.
I agree. Well, there's rhythm associated with it as well. I mean, it's not just da 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 da. It's da 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 da. Da, 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 da. I mean, that's rhythmically quite precise as well.
You write what you like, and great.
What is slightly odd, and it always surprised me how well it works, is how that number, the title number, Phantom of the Opera, is musically, stylistically, entirely different from the rest of the show. It makes me wonder whether he didn't write, perhaps, and I don't know what the history is at all, but it makes me wonder whether he didn't write that first thinking, I'm going to do a rock musical called Phantom of the Opera, and then change his mind completely and decide to go 19th century soupy operatic with all those gorgeous tunes.
I might be able to help you out here.
Yeah, why am I wondering and not just asking you when you are a musical theatre buff?
Thank you. There are 2 people in this room.
And now I'm the blind one. Go on.
It was originally written for Steve Harley, who was...
That's right.
Steve
who did
Harley
the recording.
And Cockney Rebel.
Yeah.
And a great rock and roll.
Written for him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
because he recorded it, didn't he?
I I'm not sure.
He did. The original single that was released is Steve Harley and Sarah Brightman, and he was cast.
Yes, and then he couldn't do it
and then
or
he
something.
dropped out, couldn't do it,
Broke his leg or something.
got his sorry ass fired. We don't know.
So obviously at that point it was kind of he is a rock figure, so let's give him a kind of rock sound.
Yeah, he was great.
And
he was great on that recording.
do you think there's something slight... Lloyd Webber has, for many decades, said this is his favourite... That's why he did Love Never Dies and wanted to do the sequel and prequel. And
it's beautiful music.
Yeah.
I think some of his very, very best.
Let's be honest, Lloyd Webber is not the world's best-looking bloke.
Where are you going with this?
He writes a beautiful opera for a soprano that he is so heavily in love with. It's a bit life imitating art, imitating life.
Do you
think he sees himself
I'd
as
never thought of that.
the Phantom, doing this kind of rock and roll, dark, mysterious genius, essentially, writing this musical for Sarah Brightman?
I think you may be possibly pushing it a bit. I mean, is he dark and mysterious, or is he just a genius?
He's not normal.
Is this one for the lawyers?
Well,
who says he's not normal? I don't know.
I mean, but he is this kind of eccentric. I mean, I think that's a fair word,
right? Okay,
to use, for Lloyd Webber.
Okay,
writing a musical for a soprano that he's...
Yeah, and they're the parallels then, for God's sake. I mean, he didn't have quite the same past, did he?
I mean,
he wasn't, after all, a circus freak.
I think...
Like our Eric.
No. The Phantom of the Opera title song is more gothic rock, so he's taking the gothicness of the character and he's giving it kind of what was at the time a contemporary sound with the synth drums and stuff, which I presume are still in the orchestra.
They are, the DX7
and the organ,
yeah.
The organ kind of rocking away.
It's very 80s, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think it's kind of Lloyd Webber's ode to, even in Love Never Dies, the Phantom was a very modern character because he's all about rock and he's all about electricity and stuff like that. So the Phantom is of a different time, in a way.
That's interesting. Yeah, I don't think we can. I've been thinking while you're talking about other examples, whether we could see those parallels in other musicals, but I can't see anything in Superstar or anything like that.
I think he just likes rock music. I think that's any excuse to put a bit of rock in. He's not going to say no. He's working with Jim Steinman for Whistle Down the Wind, and Starlight Express is full of rock, and Jesus Christ Superstar and Evita and stuff.
Starlight Express is full of pastiche, which is what he does really well. One of the things he does really well. Joseph is a collection of pastiches.
Do you think he does pastiche in Phantom?
Well,
because you mentioned the opera.
Well, you've got the opera pastiche, obviously. Other than that, no. He just writes from the heart beautiful love songs. I mean, Music of the Night is so tender, it's so touching. The key to...
Which was originally a comedy song for Sarah Brightman.
Was it?
Yeah, it wasn't written for Phantom at all.
Was it really? It works very well in this context. And I think part of the reason that one cares for and emotionally engages with the Phantom, despite the fact that he's a murderous bastard, and makes you think, oh, God bless him by the end of it, is partly because I think you do get an emotional hook. He gets his hook into you with Music of the Night. Such a beautiful song.
Lovely ending as well. Some very clever chords that he bashes at the end of that top D flat.
Yeah. And what key is it in?
D flat. Which
now
is
explain why that's a weird thing to do.
It's not weird. It's just a very warm key. The flat keys are generally warmer, apart from A major, which a lot of peppy songs are in, like Dancing Queen and suddenly
A major is 3 sharps.
Yeah, Suddenly Seymour. It's a very warm. But D flat are the kind of romantic keys. D flat is a bit more like Sospiro by Liszt is in D flat because it's a very Claire de Lune is in D flat. So it's obviously.
I thought it was in C flat.
No, C flat is a
about
horrendous key to write in.
Yeah, but I thought it was in the.
It goes into B major. The bridge of Music of the Night does go into B major. So maybe that's what you're thinking of. But the majority of it. It might be in B now, depending on what your actor is, what his vocal range is. But Michael Crawford,
I don't think they move it.
Sung it in D flat.
Okay, yeah.
And Lloyd Webber has said
it's 5 flats, isn't it?
It is 5 flats because he had to move 6 times. And Lloyd Webber said it's the hardest. That's a Victor Borge joke.
Yeah, no, very good. Victor Borge, I will miss him, do we?
Lloyd Webber said
3 things I can never remember.
4. Lloyd Webber has said it's the hardest song he's ever written, and it is a very, very lovely piece to listen to.
Yeah.
It just irks me a bit that there is a bit of Puccini in it. Because the musical of musicals, the musical, when they did their Phantom of the Opera bit, they have they're singing this big lush ballad, and it goes into a bit where it goes, da-da-da-da-da, it may sound a teeny like something by Puccini.
yeah. Who does that?
That's a wonderful show, and we'll end on this, called The Musical of Musicals, The Musical.
Right.
Which played off-Broadway. I saw it off-Broadway. Then it did the Edinburgh Fringe, and it played, it's in the amateur circuit
like a Forbidden
now.
Broadway sort of thing?
Well, sort of. It's a bit cleverer than that. It's the same very simple story of a woman who can't pay her rent, and then a man comes and saves her. Told in the style of 5 different composers. So it's Stephen Sondheim.
Oh, that's fun.
Kander and Ebb, Andrew Lloyd Webber, Jerry Herman.
Yeah.
And Rodgers and Hammerstein.
Yeah.
So it's very simple, and if you know your
Those
musical,
styles.
it is one of the funniest things.
If you're a musical buff.
Yeah, if you're
Yeah.
a musical buff,
Yeah.
which you all are
You
listeners
are.
because you're listening to us. And
Quite right,
a
yeah.
day of education with Nick and Martin.
A day of education for Martin.
But Martin, thank you very much for talking to us today. You're doing Phantom tonight, aren't you?
I am. In
Yes.
about 2 hours. I'm thoroughly looking forward to it, as
Lovely.
always.
And we'll have you on again soon.
Lovely. Nice to talk to you, Nick.
You too, thanks.
Bye.
This episode of Musical Talk is copyright 2014.